The Time Ponies and the Cutie Mark Thief vs. the Queen of Hearts. Written and read by My Name is R. Chapter 11. The Castle of the Two Sisters. After Minuet finished telling the origin story of Nightmare Moon, they climbed back up the staircase and worked their way slowly around the hole, careful not to have any pony fall in. After several minutes, they made it to the castle. Starlight looked up to the sun, and then shook her head wearily. I wonder if these ponies got used to it, or if the frozen sun still messes with them too, thought Perfect. Hey, Derpy? Perfect Timing spoke up as they reached the stairs leading to a doorway. The others stopped to give them time before the party split. Yes? Derpy tilted her head quizzically. You know that spell Inky and I use to communicate sometimes? Derpy nodded. Would you be okay if I use it to talk to you, in case we spot something? If you're not comfortable, I can send a flare or shout into the castle, but if you don't mind, it would be easier to warn you without alerting anything out here of our presence. Sure, Derpy saluted. Perfect lit her horn and set it on Derpy's forehead. Then she closed her eyes and focused her thoughts. Can you hear me? Yep, Derpy chirped. Good enough. Good luck. I'll see you soon. Derpy turned back to the rest of the group, and they headed off. There was a pile of rubble where the doorway had no doubt once been, but Starlight and Minuet simply started clearing it with their magic. Perfect turned back to watch the path that led to the bridge. With the storm gone, flight was no longer a hazard, and they couldn't assume that enemy changelings wouldn't wander nearby anymore. I thought she wished she had before saying they should get rid of the vines. Hopefully, no changelings had seen the storm dissipate and would feel inclined to investigate. So, read any good books lately? Asked Sandstorm. Perfect stared at her and raised an eyebrow. Really? Look, I don't understand why you're embarrassed. There's nothing wrong with not liking a story whose main character has a similar job to you. Perfect sighed and continued scanning the horizon. That's not the problem. I let myself get so swept up in our discussion, I forgot every pony else. I let my guard down, and could have missed something important. We all need to stay observant in this land. There was a pause. You didn't just decide some ponies should stand watch to keep me safe after my injury, did you? Sandstorm asked. Although Perfect couldn't tell if it was rhetorical or not. She glanced at Sandstorm briefly, before returning her gaze to the trees. I thought you were just trying to make me feel not left out when you offered to join me, but this job really is more than just a way to keep me busy, isn't it? I had been already planning to post a guard when I learned we would be entering the castle. Perfect lied. And since Pegasi have good eyesight, I thought you or Fluttershy should be on watch. I'm not going to pretend to know how the elements work, but I figure the elements should be with the group looking for them. Maybe they'll be the only ones who can open the vault, or they'll have some sort of sixth sense for finding them. Perfect held her breath. What about Derpy? Perfect relaxed. 3, 2, 1... Oh, right. Don't get me wrong, I love that mare like a little sister, but spotting duty? I may not. Just then, Emerald's voice cut through the air. Are you kidding me? Wait here, I'll go see what that's about. Perfect hurried off to make sure Emerald didn't do anything else to draw attention to them. It turned out to be a shorter trip than she had expected. The doorway had been cleared and the others were gathered around a giant stone mobile sitting about the length of her and Dinky's house straight ahead of the doorway. Excuse me, Emerald, why are you shouting in the middle of a forest full of things that want to eat us? Sorry, every pony, said Emerald to the group at large. Then she turned to Perfect. Minuet said that these, she pointed at the mobile, which consisted of 4 forelegs and a central pillar, each holding up a large stone sphere. are the elements of harmony. I suppose the elements appearing to be dead after placing them as our best hope to fight the changelings is a bit shocking, Perfect admitted. Emerald looked down. I was upset that after working to be on the castle exploration, we didn't even make it past the first room before finding our goal. She tapped her hooves together nervously. Then she took a sharp breath. Wait, are they not supposed to be like that? Yeah, they look like ancient magic rocks to me, added Pinkie. She hopped over and set her ear on one, tapped it, then licked it. Yep, definitely a rock. Trust me, I grew up on a rock farm. We had tons of them around. Only less magic-y and round. Too bad Maud isn't here to see this. We're gonna save Equestria with rocks. The elements should be necklaces with a gemstone in the shape and color of their bearer's cutie mark, said Minuet. What's wrong with them? Asked Fluttershy. This is what they looked like when Pinkie first saw them in our world. Then she and her friends did something that woke them up and turned them into necklaces, but I don't know what. As the others tried to work out what to do, Perfect headed back to the stairs and sat down next to Sandstorm. What was it? Apparently, the elements were in the very first room, and Emerald had her heart set on exploring. So, why are they still in there? Well, you see... Minuet examined the mechanism the elements sat on, which Starlight thought looked oddly like an orrery. I can't tell which is which, said Minuet before turning to the others. Pinkie, Fluttershy, why don't you see if any call to you? Both of the mares approached the elements and tested them, Pinkie by tapping them and listening to their noise, though thankfully without any more tasting, and Fluttershy by running her wings over them. But after a minute or so, neither appeared to have felt a call, and they stepped back. Could it be they only awaken when the bearers demonstrate their element? Suggested Driver. Or understand it? Asked Emerald. Minuet shrugged. Those might work. I don't think I know anything else about how to get these running. Okay, let's try it, said Starlight. Fluttershy, you represent kindness. Try tapping into your inner kindness or something. I'm going to be honest, I don't think any pony knows how these things work. I always want to protect my friends. Is that kindness? No, that's really more of a loyalty thing, quipped Minuet. I think you'll do better focusing on what you feel when patching ponies up. I thought you said you didn't know anything else. About the elements, silly. Minuet started to laugh, but then stopped short. Sorry. I don't know anything else about the elements, but I do know the bearers, at least second hoof. And I know our Fluttershy can't fight, but she is a healer, so that seems like a good place to start. Is she injured? There was an awkward silence after Fluttershy's question. No, it's more mental than physical. Occasionally, she'll get into a shouting match and stare down a dragon, but normally she's so afraid the wind can make her faint. At least, that's what I gathered from our Pinkie. Fluttershy stared at Minuet. Are you sure we don't simply share a name? Minuet took a step to the side and cocked her head. Is your cutie marked 3 butterflies? Fluttershy nodded. All right. I'll try to recall all my feelings like when I heal some pony. Okay, while she does that, Pinkie, why don't you try to call up laughter? Asked Starlight. Pinkie grinned. Okay. So, did you know I used to have an ant farm? Starlight blinked and started to reply, but Pinkie kept going. But I had to get rid of it because I couldn't find tractors that small. Minuet started snickering. The other day, I spilled spot remover on my dog, and now I can't find him! This was met by a bit of laughter from the crowd. Pinkie looked at the elements. Okay, now what? No pony seemed to have an answer to that. Fluttershy reached out and picked up one of the elements, which had started to glow a soft pink. Its glow swelled until the details became impossible to make out, and when it faded, it was no longer a spherical stone, but a necklace. It was golden, with a pink gem in the shape of a butterfly at the center. She smiled. I think it worked. What were you thinking? Asked Minuet. I was remembering my mission, to help others until all rise together. It came together from an encounter with a unicorn when I was a filly in Cloudsdale. She talked to some bullies who were teasing me and shared some lessons with all of us. Fluttershy looked directly at Starlight, and I can't say for sure since it's been so long, but she looked a lot like you. Starlight coughed. You remember that? So it was you. I was trying to help bring about the world we sought. Don't! Fluttershy took a step back, startled at the sudden outcry. Don't? Why not? I was wrong. I tried to force ponies to be the same, to give up what made them special. But deep down, I think I just hated cutie marks enough to think a world without them would be better, and I was willing to do anything to get there. Don't make the mistakes I did. I don't think I could bear causing another pony to do what I did. Fluttershy looked back, confused. A world without cutie marks? Is that what you meant? Starlight was taken aback. What did you think I meant? I was trying to make sure no pony was left behind, to help those who couldn't make it on their own. Before the changelings attacked, I ran a shelter for ponies who didn't have anywhere else to be. How would you even try to make a world without cutie marks? A cutie mark removal spell, Starlight admitted. Well, I was trying to end social inequality, not individuality. Though, looking back, I can see how I might have misunderstood your intent. I was just a filly, after all. I guess that's okay then? So, will you be helping me bring about... No. I'm not entirely sure if what you took my preaching to mean is okay, but it feels too much like my old propaganda. I don't trust it. Fluttershy looked away. I'm sorry you feel that way. What's the word? Muttered Driver. Enlightening, as this conversation has been, should we be headed out now? I doubt hanging around the castle is going to help. Starlight nodded, and Driver grabbed one of the elements and set it atop his back. Pinky, Starlight, Derpy, think you can each grab one? Pinky slipped one into her mane, somehow. Derpy walked under one and used her wing to roll it onto her back, and Starlight picked one up in her magic. Won't that get tiring after hours of walking? Asked Emerald. Why don't we send them back to Time Turner and have him pass them back when we need him? There was a long pause, wherein Starlight and Driver shared a look that plainly said, Oops. Yes, let's find a mirror, Starlight said. A mirror? Asked Fluttershy. Doc said that mirrors make his machine work better, Derpy answered. Emerald lit her horn with a grin. I've got this one. She faced the wall, and a section about 8 feet high by 6 feet wide lit to match her blue aura. Dust and dirt quickly began falling off the glowing portion. After it was clean, the wall started to gleam as though polished. Emerald turned back to the group. My talent is restoration. Usually of books, but it works on other things. Starlight took out her beacon and activated it. Immediately, the wall rippled, almost imperceptibly. Not as flashy on this side, Minuet observed. Driver stepped through, and Starlight followed. The trip was as disorienting as always, but she was starting to get used to it. As her vision cleared, she saw Time Turner's basement just as they'd left it. Back so soon? The doctor asked. I hope nothing went amiss. Driver shook his head. No, we're just here to drop off some relics so we don't have to carry them across the countryside. Whee! Pinky shouted as she flew out of the mirror. That was great! Do you get to do that every time you visit? What, pray tell, is she doing here? Extra Time asked, both he and Perfect Pace eyeing Pinky warily. Just dropping off this super important stone. Unless I can make a party for you. I've never tried an otherworld party. What would the theme be? No need for that, Starlight interrupted as Derpy flew in. Let's just leave the elements and be on our way. Those are the elements? Asked the doctor. I thought they were smaller than that. That's part of the problem. We're trying to figure that out. Short answer is that they're out of commission, at least for now. My word, that sounds dreadful. Any clues on how to get them fixed up? I'll tell you three all about it when we get back. Ah, of course. Cheerio! Derpy waved. See you soon! And with that, the four adventurers headed back through the mirror, ready to continue their mission. Author's note. I planned on them crawling through the crumbling castle, using teamwork and all their respective skills to avoid falling prey to avalanching ceilings and collapsing floors, complete with a few of the booby traps we see in Castlemania. Then I realized the elements were kept in the open in the first room. Emerald voiced my thoughts on the matter best. Orrery. Noun. A mechanical model of the solar system. Well, I hope you all enjoyed this chapter. I can't think of any comments I would have to say on it that haven't already been summarized in the author's note. Ooh, this is, I think, the first time we start to see what I'm doing with Fluttershy. Yeah, that's gonna be a recurring thing that's gonna pop up. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for listening. Have a good time, everyone. Goodbye.